Okay, guys, at some point you just have to make the video. So I feel like I know enough that I gotta go ahead and just make this video because I could research this all day and never feel like I get to the bottom of things. But today we're going to talk about Enneagram Type Fours, and we're going to talk about how to get along with me. So if you are in a relationship with a Type Four, you have maybe a child that's a four, or a spouse, or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. The holidays are coming up and we're going to be around family and friends. And maybe you've got a four in your family and you're trying to figure out, how do I get along with this person? We're going to make that the subject of our video today. Now, this information comes primarily from this simple book here, The Enneagram Made Easy. This is the book that I started with years ago when I started learning about the Enneagram, and I just picked it up and said, I haven't looked at this in a long time. Maybe I should relook at this and see if there's just something here that maybe I need to be reminded of. I got a lot of books back there about the Enneagram that I've read, but sometimes you got to come back to the beginning. And just a reminder, in the description below is a link to my website, tomlahue.com, where I do offer courses on the Enneagram, live and on demand. And you can book coaching appointments with me if you want to talk about what's going on in your life, how to make your relationships better. And also, I got a lot of resources on my store page, a lot of ebooks and guides and all kinds of stuff to help you in this journey. So let's look at this information and talk about, how do I get along with my type 4? And, I just gonna just look at this list and see where it takes us. I don't have a real grand plan here. I'm not trying to change your life. But I do want to try to understand a little bit better and help you understand the people that you love and care about, so that we can have the best relationships and the best life possible. So, how to get along with me. Now, I would never have put this as the very first one. I thought it was so interesting because I thought this makes sense if a person was a three, but really a four, you would put this as the very first point on how to get along with a four. So it really made me stop and think about, how well do I really know these fours? How well do any of us really know these fours? But the very first one is, give me plenty of compliments. They mean a lot to me. Give me plenty of compliments. I'm just curious. You guys that are fours, go ahead and, put a comment in the comment section. Like, subscribe, all that trash. But go ahead and put a comment in there. Does that feel like the number one most important thing about getting along with a four, is make sure you compliment them? If you're going to compliment them, I would say, I would have put, if you're going to compliment me, make sure it's something genuine and sincere. Don't just flatter me. Don't tell me something that you like about me in order to try to get me to like you, in order to try to build some kind of fake connection with me. I would have put something like that if I would have put it at all. But I wouldn't have started with, give me plenty of compliments. They mean a lot to me. Do you need compliments? Does that really help you? I mean, everybody likes to hear something good about themselves. Nobody wants to hear negative about themselves. But I'm just interested. Like, do you resonate with that, or does that not feel like it should be the first one? I wouldn't have put it first. I mean, there's other ones on this list that I would have put first. But give me plenty of compliments. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that with some of my fours and see what the reaction is. I don't know. Would they tell me that sounds fake? That's not. Would they tell me that? Give me plenty of compliments. They mean a lot to me. Um, okay. Next one is, be a supportive friend or partner. Help me learn to love and value myself. That one makes a little more sense to me. A supportive friend or partner, help me to love and value myself. I always think, like, fours, they tend to see all of the beauty outside of them. They see, like, all this brokenness in the world, and they see how it could all fit together like puzzle pieces. And they can see, you can take this broken stuff and you can make it into beautiful art. You see the potential. You can kind of dream and see the way things could be, but then you might have a negative lens by which you view yourself, like your shortcomings, your failures, what's missing, how things aren't working out for you. You might look back in your past and just see all the trauma and all of the ways people mistreated you and those kinds of things. You might have an over active negative view of yourself. Maybe that's why you need a lot of compliments. Maybe that's fair. Maybe if you tend to see yourself in some kind of a shortcoming, or you tend to focus on the darker or negative aspects about yourself, I could see where it would be very reassuring to have somebody come along and try to help you see more of the positives about yourself. And it says, be a supportive friend or partner. And I kind of think about like that as being like a stable friend or partner, because fours, I don't mean any offense at all, but fours, they tend to be thought of as being a little bit reactive or volatile. And maybe I'm overthinking this. Can you guys tell I'm trying to be very careful? Like, I don't want to offend you. I don't want to hurt your feelings. Does that tell you anything about you as fours, or maybe my insecurities as a 7-wing six? I've got that strong 6-wing. I don't want to say anything. That little bit of walking on eggshells that sometimes fours and twos and maybe a few other types kind of make us feel like we're walking on eggshells. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to upset you. I don't want you to react negatively. That may be what the rest of us feel when we interact with four. So when we gather around that table and we're eating together and talking together, you may get the sense that people are being phony or fake with you when they're actually maybe just being careful, because they know that you tend to feel things very deeply, and they don't want to arouse that kind of reaction from you. And you may be fine with that kind of reaction. Like, that may be normal to you or may feel okay to you. Like, I've got to express what's genuinely going on inside of me. But the rest of us, we may not be as comfortable with that kind of volatility. And so I think, where it says be a supportive friend, I could see be a stable friend, because as a four, if you tend to react to things and you tend to feel things very deeply, it can make sense that you would need a companion that is a little bit less reactive, a little bit more objective, a little more 5 or 9 like, that's able to sort of just not necessarily get sucked into all of the emotions or sucked into all of the drama. And I could see where that makes a lot of sense. Like, I need somebody who doesn't overreact to my overreactions. Again, I'm trying to be careful how I say that. Either you're going to love me for that or you're going to hate me for it. You'll be like, Tom, you're so cute. You're trying to be careful with this. Or you're like, Tom, you're just a big fake. You're a big phony, which I imagine that's probably the worst thing a 4 could imagine, is that somebody was fake or phony. Like a 2, it would be selfish, somebody who's selfish, or for a 7, it'd be somebody who's, rules and boring. We all kind of have like our, or a 3, somebody who has no worth and no value, somebody who doesn't value themselves, or 1, somebody who's lazy. We all kind of have like the worst thing we can imagine about somebody. So be a supportive friend or partner. Help me to learn to love and value myself, to see the good in myself, because you tend to see the negative in yourself. It distresses me. I want you to see the positive in yourself. But, I'm a 7. So respect me for my special gifts and my intuition and my vision. Respect me, in other words, when I start to share my intuition, how I feel about things, even if I might know that something's wrong, but I can't necessarily express it in objective terms why it's off or why I don't like it. Respect my views on those things, on my intuition, on my vision, and my special gifts. What are your special gifts? I mean, we tend to think of 4s as being creative and artistic, poetic, dramatic, a flair for the dramatic. And again, making things interesting, making things creative. What is your special gift? Is it your special insight into people? I'm just curious what your special gift is. But notice it says, respect that, value that. Find value in that, a value type, right? So find value in my unique abilities, or my unique presence, or what I bring to the table that's special and different and unique, rather than despise me for it, which may be what you feel like. People despise you for your unique or special or different abilities, but respect them instead. Appreciate the depth, the emotional creativity, the authenticity, the genuineness, the honesty, these things could get you into trouble and could make you very misunderstood and minimized and diminished, as most fours would say they feel. But I think when you bring these things into a room, the rest of us we wear jeans, we wear t-shirts. I like different stuff, as you can tell. I like different stuff, but I'm an ENFP and I'm a 7, and so we share a lot in common in some ways. A lot of 4s are INFPs. I'm curious what your Myers Briggs. That's what I'm talking about. If you're like, what's he talking about? ENFP, INFP. Myers Briggs is another personality profile. Which, if you're a 4, you probably already know this. You probably already know what DISC is. You probably already know what all these things are. But that's for the rest of them out there that don't. But as an ENFP, I value authenticity. I value individuality. I value those things. Kind of do it your own way, see it your own way. I value that, but a lot of people don't. Well, let's face it, a lot of people don't. They value conformity, they value rigidity, they value sameness, and they want people to not draw attention to themselves. Like they see that as flamboyant, they see that as unnecessary. If they do draw attention to themselves, they probably draw attention to themselves by being the best versions of themselves, wearing designer clothing or designer styles. And as a 4, I can see that you might disdain that, like going along with everybody because it's what everybody's doing. And don't you have a personality? Can't you like what you like? Why do you have to like what everybody else likes? Why do you have to have sameness? Why do you have to just. And so as a 4, I think whatever ways you express that unique creativity, and I'm all for it. I'm literally all for it. I mean, however you express that, whether it's by the way you wear your hair or your jewelry or your tattoos or your clothing, or your music, whatever it is that makes you stand out and gives you that sense of you. Notice it says here, value that instead of disdain me for it. Don't disdain me that maybe I march to the beat of my own drum, a little bit of a bohemian, right? Don't disdain me or hate me because of that. See that and value that. Maybe just compliment. Look, put that together with the first one, compliment and say, "Oh wow, I love your outfit. Oh wow, I love your shoes. Oh wow, I love the way you do your hair." Now you might think to yourself, as somebody who's not a 4, I would never do my hair like that. I would never wear an outfit like that. But you don't have to say that part out loud. You don't have to give your 2 cents about that. That's probably why the 4 is doing that, is because other people wouldn't do that. And so it does give them that sense. It might give you that sense of standing out or standing apart. And that's a value thing, right? Because it's a little bit like if we all did the same thing, if we all talked the same way, if we all dressed the same way, if we all went to the same schools, or then we're all kind of like cogs in a wheel and sort of replaceable, and that doesn't feel very valuable. We all long for, on the one hand, a sense of belonging, like we're a part of a group. And on the other hand, we also, at the same time, all of us have a desire to stand out and be unique and special and important. And I think 4s, could get caught in that struggle. They could live in that struggle of wanting, on the one hand, to belong and be understood and to feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves, while at the same time not being willing to give up, feeling like they are giving up on themselves to do that. And it feels like 4s are kind of stuck on that continuum, trying to find peace and harmony, between those two extremes. As we all are, I guess. I guess most of us just, that isn't our biggest struggle. That isn't our biggest way of thinking. But okay, all right, enough about us. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. You. Respect me for my special gifts and my intuition and my vision. Though I don't, let me just pause there for a second. I remember being around a 4 a lot and at work. And they were probably a social 4, so they were kind of the sad 4. And and I didn't see them expressing vision so much about as much as expressing that we seemed as an organization to have a lack of vision. So it came across in a negative way. It kind of came across as like a downer. Like, what are we doing here? What is our vision? What is our mission? What is it we're trying to accomplish? And I would go back through and I would say all the right things. Well, we're trying to do this, we're trying to accomplish this, we have this in place and that in place. And it just never felt like it really satisfied this person. They always kind of felt unsatisfied, like something was missing in the organization. And they would always come back to, what is our vision? What is our mission? I don't feel like we really express our mission and vision. I would think, I'm doing it all the time. I'm literally doing it all the time. And it became frustrating to me. But, I think that's kind of what maybe this statement is saying, is like express my longing for vision, or my longing for meaning, or my longing for purpose, and how we're living that out and doing something that really makes a difference in the world. And I kind of saw it as annoying. Like, so maybe I didn't value it as much as I should. That person wasn't expressing vision as much as expressing a desire for vision, or a desire for meaning or purpose, a dissatisfaction, as it kind of came across as complaining to me. But okay, though I don't always want to be cheered up when I'm feeling melancholy, I sometimes like to have somebody lighten me up a little bit. Amen. Thank you. Appreciate that. I like to have somebody lighten me up. I know I've got several fours in my life, or a couple fours in my life, that I feel like do seek me out just to sort of like remind them that life is okay. Like that life is they're going to be okay, or that there is a positive side to things. And I'm fine with being used like that. I'm okay with that. But that melancholy, that tape that maybe you play, or that record you play, that is sort of the sad songs. Sad songs say so much. I think Elton John's probably a four, and that song just is so interesting to me because it's a happy tune about sad songs. And there is some kind of like disturbed joy that it seems that fours take in going into darkness or going into sadness. I mean, they're all over TikTok, right? So if you scroll like the live feed on TikTok, you'll see lots of fours on there, or I should say people that present as fours, because you're not really supposed to type people, right? None of us would ever do that. I do declare. But sometimes you'll see these people that look like fours. They definitely look like they spend a lot of time to look different and to stand out and be unique. And sometimes they're just like staring at a phone, just like in this awkward way, just like staring at a floor. And then somebody will make a comment, and then they'll react to the comment. And then somebody else will make a comment, and they'll react to the comment. And it's like, what are you doing? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, as a seven, I would think like, well, I got to take myself out of this. But why was I talking about that? Um, Being cheered up. Okay. So I think fours can sometimes play that sad song and feel very comfortable in that, and maybe even like want to be sad, maybe want to go into that dark place. That's my perception. I don't know whether I'm right or not, but it's kind of like fours, maybe that's a comfortable place for you. And it may be more comfortable than some of the other things in life that you have to face, like reaching out and being rejected. Ouch. This is not a video to challenge you. This is a video to just talk about the rest of us, how we get along with you. Keep it on track, Tom. But what's the point again? Seven mind, monkey mind, cheered up. Yeah, when I'm feeling melancholy, help me lighten up a little bit. So I don't think it's about telling you, oh man, you're just so dark. Get over it. Oh gosh, focus on the positive. You have so many things going for. I think that's going to really drive a four nuts. Look, if you have a four in your life and they start to go down the dark road of lamenting life and all of its challenges, don't tell them to cheer up. You might be able to cheer them up, but don't tell them to cheer up. Don't say, oh my gosh, you're focused on so many negative things. Why can't you be more positive? Why can't you be more? They're definitely going to feel misunderstood, and like you just are trying to give them a get well card. Don't you feel my disease? Don't you see I'm sick? Don't you see my disease? No, get well, get well, get well. And it's probably going to feel very minimizing and diminishing. I think much better is to say something like, let me hear what's going on. Tell me what's going on. Let the four express their troubles, their woes, their concerns, their feelings, and validate those feelings. Validate, key word. It's a form of admiration or appreciation to let somebody know that I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry that's been your experience. I'm sorry that they said that to you. Yeah, you might think in your head, like, the reason they said that to you is because you were being awful to them. But you don't have to say that part out loud. You don't have to teach them always. Let me teach you something. But at this point, if I'm trying to get along with you, remember the goal here is how to get along with, not how to change or teach or mentor. That's going to probably not be necessary at your Christmas holiday, okay? Or your Hanukkah holiday or your Kwanzaa holiday or whatever your holiday is. That's probably not going to be necessary and not appreciated. Rather, it'd be better to just validate and say, oh my gosh, I'm sorry that happened to you. That's awful. They should have never said that to you. Um, you know, and do that instead. And I can't imagine how this must feel for you. That's probably far better. I can't imagine. Because if you can imagine, then you feel like you're the same. You're projecting out there that you understand. And that's part of being a four is that people don't understand. They don't get, I am not like you. And so I think if you can express in some way that you care about this person and you can't imagine how things must be for them, I think they're probably going to feel a lot more heard, a lot more valued, a lot more, seen than if you say, oh, I can totally imagine. That's nothing. Wait till you hear my problems. Wait till you hear what I'm going through. Oh, don't do that to them. I mean, if you want to get along with them, don't do that to them. Hear them, hear their enduring, persevering strength, and remind them of their resilience. Remind them of their strength. Like, wow, that's really tough. Man, I really got to give it up to you to be able to go through that. Man, you're like really a champion going through something like that. Again, don't say something that's false. Be genuine. Don't say more than you can really back up with some true emotions. But to be able to see this person going through difficulties or hardships or struggles and valuing them in spite of those challenges and seeing that they're being strong and enduring and persevering and then complimenting that strength, I think that's going to go a long way. I mean, I may not be 100% right, and you fours might be like, gosh, Tom, you just still got it wrong. You just don't really understand us. But I think I understand better certainly than I did 5 years ago. Because I would have been that person saying, Jesus is here for you. You should reach out to him. You have loving parents. I would have been that person who would have just shut you down and made you feel like you're not heard, not seen. And so I'm doing far better than I used to do. Don't tell me I'm too sensitive or that I'm overreacting. Don't tell me how to feel. Don't tell me I'm being too sensitive. Well, maybe you are being too sensitive. But it's not going to help for me to tell you that. You're probably just going to, pull away from me or withdraw from me or get volatile with me. So it doesn't help for me to say, oh my gosh, you're so sensitive. Oh my goodness, just get over it. Get over yourself. That's not probably going to move the conversation in a way that feels meaningful or a way that feels like we have any kind of connection. So don't tell me I'm too sensitive or that I'm overreacting. Because the rest of us, I think you would find some value in this if you're a four, but the rest of us may want to try to move on from whatever the injustice was or whatever the problem was because we want to offload that crap so we can move on to some kind of happier place in life or some kind of peace. We're so willing to keep peace and harmony that we just are not going to focus on the stupid thing somebody said or did to us. And we could stop there and we could feel all those feelings, but what's the point? I think some of us, like myself, would feel like, what's the point? At the end of the day, I just want to move on. I just want to have a decent life. And if I stay stuck thinking about how this person mistreated me, and that's going to feel like it's not being genuine or authentic to you. It's going to feel like, gosh, Tom, you're not slowing down long enough to feel your emotions. And I'll say, yeah, it's probably true. It's probably true, but it does kind of work for me. And I just want you to see the other side of it. Like, what's your goal here? That's a good question for you. What's your goal here? Because you say you want to be happy. You say you want to, have connections. You say that you want to have this kind of idealized life. But what are you doing to get there? What are you doing that might be keeping you from having those things? And I know as a four, you probably feel like you do let a lot of stuff go. Um, because I'm feeling sad now. So I'm feeling sad. Like there's a lot of pain in this world. There's a lot of crap that people do to each other. And I don't want to minimize or diminish that. But I also don't want to stay stuck in it all my life. I don't want to just, remain trapped in that. And the only way I know to let go of that is to forgive and move on. So can I be real with the pain and real with what was done to me and real with my emotions and at the same time try to disconnect from that and say, but I have to let that go because I got to move on because I got to take care of me. I have to go forward. I have to, have some kind of semblance of order and, in my life. Okay. Well, let's see. Acknowledge there. Then I got all these notes. You don't want to stay around and listen to all this. I got too much stuff. I got all these notes. I like that though. Tell me to help me lighten up. Help me lighten up sometimes. Because you guys can get way too serious. Sometimes when you go out to coffee with people, it should just be about coffee. It should just be about lighthearted conversation. It's okay to go deep. I can go deep. I'm not like other sevens. I can go deep, but a lot of us don't want to go deep. Like we are exhausted. We're tired. We're going deep at home with the people in our lives and we just want to have a friend that we can just, be ourselves and talk to. We don't always want to go to the dark end, you know. Acknowledge their emotions, deeply value being fours deeply value being understood. Listen attentively, share your emotions, validate their emotions, don't dismiss their emotions as dramatic and unnecessary. Now, right now, I'm reading my own notes. That stuff isn't in here. I was just writing my own notes down here. Here's some other notes I wrote down. I can't. This wasn't in there. This wasn't in the on the list. But be authentic and honest. Fours appreciate realness. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Notice right next to you is wing three. That's crazy, isn't it? Because you do need a little bit of that, but it feels very inauthentic to you. I mean, the sin of a three is deceit. It's almost like the opposites of fours. Realness. And look, threes are often focused on image management, not being real at all, but how people are perceiving them. A little bit of that could be good for you. I know it sounds crazy, but we can talk about that in some other video. Avoid comparing them to others. Yeah, because the four always ends up the loser on that, right? They always feel like they end up being the loser. So when the four, let's say the four's got a guitar. There's this one girl on TikTok, probably 100 of them, but there's this one girl on TikTok that she has a guitar, and she just sings these like high lonesome songs, and she seems very fourish, right? And she sings like in a different voice, like like just and I can imagine like her family like that's really good, but that's not how the song's supposed to be sung. You can just shut them down, right? Because the whole point is she doesn't want to sing it the way it's supposed to be sung. She's got to sing it in her own way. Because if she sings it just like everybody else, then she's just white noise. She's just white noise. Nobody's ever going to listen to that. I mean, that's just karaoke. I can't just be karaoke. And so be careful when this four paints their picture and it doesn't look anything like what it's supposed to look like, or when they sing this song and it doesn't sound anything like the typical song sounds on the radio. Don't judge that and say, gosh, that doesn't sound right. Gosh, that's not how Bing Crosby sang it. You got to understand the four wants to do it in their own way, right? Okay. Avoid comparing me to others. Be patient with my moods, my highs and my lows. Give me encouragement, not pity. Give me encouragement, not empathy. Empower them to find resilience, not just being sympathetic, like, gosh, wow, your life sucks. Yeah, and I would feel the same way. Help them to see their own strengths. Help them to tap into their own strengths. They've endured a lot, and you can keep going. Be real, be genuine with them. Now, there's this little statement here. We'll end with this little statement that says, in relationships, good, and relationships, bad. Fours at their best in a relationship are empathetic to a fault, right? You feel things so deeply. Maybe that's part of why sometimes you could overreact, is because you do feel things internally so deeply. It might be better to be a little bit like a five, lean into that five wing and be a little more detached if you do feel things very deeply. There may be times you need to protect yourself, have a little bit more boundaries, put on that hazmat suit of a five, and be a little less affected by the world around you. It might pay off for yourself, for your own sanity. Empathetic, supportive, gentle, playful, passionate, and witty. That's a great list. That's a great list. That's an awesome person. Let me read that again. I'm complimenting you. I'm complimenting you. Empathetic, good. Supportive, amazing. Why? Because you know what life can, you know how bad life can suck sometimes. So you're very supportive. Gentle, playful, passionate, and witty. Who doesn't want that in their life? They are self-revealing and bond easily. Now, here's the bad news, right? Fours at their worst in a relationship are too self-absorbed. Let's pause there for a second, thinking about what does this mean about me? What are they saying about me? What are they implying about me? The fact that they came in and said hello to her, what does that mean about me and my value and whether they notice me? When they come in and they say, "Oh, I really love your shirt." What do they mean about me? What are they saying about me? What are they saying? What does that mean? You know, and I was like, I just like your shirt. That's all. That's all I was saying. I like your shirt. You hate me, don't you? Too self absorbed, jealous. Okay, there's that envy, right? So the beautiful girl walks into the room and sits down. Oh, everybody loves her. Everybody thinks she's so great. Everybody thinks she's so. Look at the tall, beautiful, thin girl. Everybody thinks the blonde. Envy, right? Jealousy. This is you at your worst. Tom, you're making fun of us. No, I'm not making. Well, maybe I am. Okay. Too self absorbed, jealous, emotionally needy. Oh, goes to two, right? That four line to two where you start to feel a little more needy. Like, I need to connect with people. I need them to like me. I don't reject me. I need to win them over. And that, again, that's you at your worst. At their worst. That's what it says. Fours at their worst in a relationship. Emotionally needy. You know, flip that around. What are you at your best? Emotionally available, emotionally giving to others, moody. I didn't say it. It's in the book. Moody. Moody. That means like everything's going fine. We're all eating. We're all having a pleasant time. Somebody says something, and the person goes, and they leave, and we go, "What just happened? What just happened?" Moody, self-righteous. Self-righteous, interesting, and overly critical. Overly critical of yourselves, overly critical of the meal, overly critical of other people. What? I don't know. Could be all of it. Overly critical. They become hurt and feel rejected easily. You know, the part of that sentence that makes me nervous or scared is the word easily. I didn't write this, guys. I didn't write this. Okay? So relax. Cool your engines. Calm down a second and listen to what it says. They become hurt and feel rejected easily. And see, there's the eggshells. People are being careful what they see. You want us to all be authentic with you. Really? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because because if we are genuine and authentic and say exactly what we think and exactly what we feel, you might overreact to that because moody, self-absorbed, overly critical, self-righteous. See, here's kind of the thing. You might get mad and say, nobody listens to me and nobody takes me seriously. Um, well, we're trying to take you seriously, but we're also trying to get along with you. And you may miss that. You may not appreciate that we're trying to get along with you. And if we took everything you said seriously all the time, we would be completely hurt and wounded, maybe, because of your brutal honesty and your genuine truthfulness. And so maybe the people in your life are trying to love you, but it comes across to you as being fake, phony, and false. But they're trying to be careful because they see that their words and their actions and their looks and their, you know, could easily set you off. Now, look, you're saying, gosh, Tom, that is not me at all. I didn't say it was you. It says at their worst. And hopefully you're not at your worst. Hopefully you're your best. and not at your worst. But maybe there was, when you were a teenager, there was that one weekend when you were at your worst. I don't know. But that's not you all the time. Um, but it is in there somewhere. And we want to get along. We want to love you. We want to care about you. And we're trying to do this. We're just trying to understand. And that it's not easy to understand somebody else's perspective. That's what all this is about, is trying to understand our own and everybody else's perspective. So, well, I guess we should bring this to a close and say, if you want somebody to to help, I'm here. Let's work together. Let's talk about it. Let's try to have the best relationship we can. Maybe you're married to a 9 and you don't feel heard, valued, seen. Maybe you're married to a 6 and everything is very reactive in your marriage, or you're married to a 7 and you got problems. I'm here to help as best I can, um, to try to understand and try to help you move forward in life, not get stuck, be able to move forward in life and have the best life possible. I love you guys. I care about you. That's why I do this. And hopefully something in this video is helpful to you. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out this playlist if you want to keep learning. Check out this video I'm recommending. And as always, be present to life. I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.